Ever wonder how trails appear and how they stay clear for all of us to enjoy? We'll find out up close today. We'll also revisit the Commissioner's Cup, the top youth bass tournament in the state, and see how the winners' lives have changed. Plus, we take you on AGO's first ever field trip. It's all on this week's Arkansas's Great Outdoors. In our last episode, we brought you the best high school anglers in the state in the annual Commissioner's Cup. Each year, the best of several high school tournament trails compete in this event organized by the Arkansas Game and Fish Foundation. The kids compete for scholarship money and gear, a lot of gear. We followed many of these young anglers on the water and were very impressed not only with their fishing savvy, but their ability to articulate their approach to the sport.
I think it's 5-inch in a watermelon special, and we're dipping the tail in chartreuse dipping globe.
Okay. There's a little dingy back here. You think that'll help?
Yeah. Every time I've been to this lake, I've always dipped my worms in that chartreuse dipping globe, and it helps.
Whether they decide to pursue tournament fishing as a profession or anything else, it shows that this sport is preparing the next generation for whatever is in their future.
When I started fishing, I was very shy and I didn't like to talk about it, but something you're gonna have to learn if you wanna do this as a career and be in this industry. You gotta learn how to speak and talk to sponsors so that you can be successful at it. So it's not all about fishing. It has a lot to do with speaking, being able to communicate. So
there are two divisions in the tournament, the upper division, the high schoolers, and the lower division, which is anyone younger than 9th grade.
First place goes in the junior category to Hunter Denton and Zane Cobb. Y'all been up here before.
The junior champions were Hunter Denton and Zane Cobb from Cutter Morningstar. This is the second championship in a row for the Eagles.
What did that big one come on?
Carolina rig.
We used a Carolina rig almost all day. We caught one
on a chatterbait. It was one of the better ones in the box, and then I pulled out that 5-pounder with the Carolina rig, and that was all she wrote. It got me excited, I know that.
Yeah, it got me excited too. We're pretty hyped on the boat. We're kind of just jumping around a little bit.
We've got Tish Tucker here with us. She is the head bass coach for Cutter Morningstar High School, which is a dream gig for most coaches in the state of Arkansas. How did you get such a position?
Well, our school needed one. I kind of fell into the position, and I had been doing fishing tournaments with Trader Bill's, doing their high school fishing and team trail fishing. So I kind of jumped on board. The kids were already fishing tournaments and weighing in, and so that's how I fell into it.
And we've obviously got very windy conditions here
yes.
on Lake Hamilton as the wind has come in after this tournament has ended.
Yes.
But you've also built up quite a dynasty because we've got successive championships here at Cutter Morningstar. That's
yes,
pretty impressive.
It is. It's been really exciting.
How do you get the kids ready for a tournament?
Well, I feel like I don't do much. I feel like they do it. They have great boat captains. They have great community around them that sponsors them and helps them. They get ready for it. They are on the water fishing. They are fishing whether it's 15 degrees or 100 degrees, and that's one thing that I love is it's teaching them so many things. But they pretty much do that themselves, and I weigh in fish and I get to help write the checks and take the pictures, and that's the fun part of it, is seeing those kids weigh in fish.
Well, these kids have a great opportunity to win a lot of scholarship money.
Yes.
They get to walk out of here with all kinds of fishing gear.
Yes.
And in fact, I think they were still fishing from gear they won last year.
Yes, they won a ton of stuff last year. And I tell you, I cannot say enough about the Arkansas Game and Fish and Deke and Tyler and their crew. They worked so hard and put this on.
Well, there's never been a better time to be a young angler in the state of Arkansas. The opportunities are so plentiful. It's a great way to get off the couch, get outside, have some fun, win some prizes, win some money. Thanks for what you do at Cutter Morningstar, and congratulations once again.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Bet you didn't know there was a bass coach in high school. Now that's what I would call a solid education. We'll have more from the Commissioner's Cup a little bit later on in the show, including the inspirational story from the winners of the senior division. Up next, Mallory Lindsay from Bad Boy Mowers joins Lee for a cleanup of one of Arkansas's great hiking and biking destinations, Hot Springs North Woods. Arkansas's Great Outdoors is brought to you by Bad Boy Mowers, mow with an attitude, by Vexus Boats, by Visit Hot Springs, America's first resort, and by Certified Arkansas Bait Fish, the safe bait.
Where haven't we gone? What hasn't been done? What's still left to be discovered and possible beyond the horizon? How can we continue pushing limits, breaking boundaries, and leading the way? At Bad Boy, it's not just about finding the answers. It's about the pursuit. Bad Boy, mow with an attitude.
We sometimes take great trails for granted. They appear just like nature designed them, specifically for us to be able to enjoy a stroll through a forest wonderland. But all trails need some maintenance. And the team at TACO, which stands for Trail Advocacy Coalition of the Ouachitas, joined up with Lee and Mallory to help clear the way for many to enjoy the amazing views along Hot Springs North Woods.
Guys, thank y'all for coming out. Really appreciate this. We've got some overgrowth going on this trail. Pretty much anywhere sunlight can get to it is where we usually are having our issues. Anything on the side of the trail that you'd brush up with your handlebar, that's usually kind of how I think about it. If we were running on the perimeter of this rock right here on the edge, what would your handlebar be hitting when you come around that turn? I'd simply come through here like this, and I'd go ahead and give it quite a bit of room to run out, something like that. That way we're not doing this again tomorrow. And I'll take this duff, this loose matter, and just kind of distribute it into the woods. We don't want piles of things. We want to try to keep it looking as natural as we can out here. Kind of slows down the erosion and leaves a little bit better presented trail when we're done.
So today I'm with Tracy from the Northwoods Trail Coordinator. She's letting me bring the E-Series to give it a go for our trail maintenance day. Thank you so much for having us out.
Yeah, thanks for coming out.
So can you tell us a little bit about what we're doing?
Okay, so we're here today cleaning off one of our blue trails here at the Northwoods. As we get a lot of rain in the spring and then the summer heat and sun and all that comes, we start to have a lot of vegetation grow over the trail, and that's when riders and hikers and runners are like, ooh, I don't want to go out there, I'm going to get bugs on me, leaves are going to hit me, chiggers, all this kind of stuff. And so we really like to cut that back and open up the trail quarter for folks to have a pleasant experience on the trail, and also to create a line of sight for those riders. When you're coming around bends and things, if you have a lot of growth, especially this time of year, you know, with leaves on everything, it can inhibit your line of sight, and you want to know what's coming up.
And you guys have an incredible team out here. I mean, we have some that are raking, we have some that are using the trimmers, we have a chainsaw going. How important is it for those who actually use the trail to be able to come out here and volunteer?
I mean, it's really big. I mean, it gives them a sense of ownership, and you know, these are their home trails. They might go and ride other trails in our region or around our state or even out of state, but this is what they're riding the most on the daily after work, on the weekends when they're at home. And I think it gives them that ownership, because it's not our trail system as far as the staff here, it's everyone's trail system.
And to touch more on that, I thought it was really unique how we had some that are hikers and they were kind of giving us, well, you know, if you do it this way, it's really good for the hikers. And then we had a bike rider that came through, he's like, well, on the bankment, it's really neat to kind of shave this off a little bit because I use that. So having those different perspectives really brings a lot to the trail maintenance team.
Yeah, yeah. So we're excited, and we're really lucky to have these guys. And like, you know, trail, we build it like, oh, we want to build all this trail, but it doesn't maintain itself. Right. You know, usage is a big part of that, but you've got to maintain it if you really want it to be used and for people to come out and enjoy it. And so this is big. It's a very big part of it.
Well, thank you for bringing us out and letting me bring out the E-Series to give it a go on the trails.
Yeah, thank you for coming out.
There are many groups that work trails all over Arkansas, so you can enjoy them every day in the natural state. If you'd like to participate, Tracy encourages you to find a group near you and will help you if you email her at tberry@hotsprings.org. This group handled a quarter mile of trail in fairly short order. Every little bit helps. As Tracy said, these trails don't take care of themselves.
Mallory, we learned a lot about trail cleanup today. What did you think?
Oh my goodness, I had no idea how extensive and how many trails Arkansas had. I mean, it was amazing. In fact, what do you think about doing maybe a trail maintenance girl trip?
I love it. I love it, as long as we get to ride afterwards.
Oh, most definitely. Well, it looks like the rain is coming, the thunder's in the background. Let's head out.
Sounds great.
We thank Bad Boy for providing the equipment for our trail cleanup. Now that same gear can keep your lawn and property looking sharp all year long. Check out the new E-Series from Bad Boy. Now you can maintain your lawn in many more ways, all with that Bad Boy attitude. When we come back, we'll take you on our first ever field trip with Arkansas's Great Outdoors. Arkansas's Great Outdoors is brought to you by Bad Boy Mowers. Mow with an attitude. By Vexus Boats. By Visit Hot Springs, America's first resort. And by Certified Arkansas Bait Fish, the safe bait. We want to tell you about our Facebook and Instagram pages. Just look for Arkansas's Great Outdoors and you can find photos and tips and background items on our show. Facebook and Instagram, Arkansas's Great Outdoors, where you can find great tips like this one from Mallory Lindsay of Bad Boy Mowers.
We were shooting and we had a quick rain shower pop up, so I thought this would be a great time to share some hiking in the rain tips. This is why pre-packing and saving for a rainy day is such a good idea. Always have a rain jacket in your back and also extra socks. It is a game changer when you have wet feet and you find an extra pair of socks in your backpack. Don't let the rain showers deter you from having a great time on the trails. There's lots of things that come out in the rain. Slugs, bugs, things I really enjoy. But you also want to stay safe. Avoid going near creeks where there could be a potential flash flood, and also don't go for those grandiose views. We don't want to be caught at the top of a mountain in a lightning storm.
We are excited to start a brand new feature on this show called Field Trips. We love the great outdoors in Arkansas, of course, but occasionally we travel outside the state and see some pretty cool stuff beyond our borders as well. Here's our first ever field trip, kayaking with manatee and all kinds of cool fish on the St. Johns River just outside of Orlando, Florida. Central Florida is certainly known for theme parks, which bring in strong numbers of tourists from all over the world. But if they miss the real outdoors, they are missing something truly unique and beautiful. This is the St. Johns River, Florida's longest, at 310 miles, which is almost as long as the Arkansas River, just the part in Arkansas. The St. Johns also has the distinction of being a rare river which flows north, one of at least 48 to do so in the United States. That's kind of interesting in that it parallels the Kissimmee River, but they flow different directions. Since it falls only 30 feet from its headwater to its tailwater, it is a slow-moving river, just 0.3 miles per hour. Some call it lazy, which is a perfect descriptive for us today, a carefree enjoyment of nature and its beauty. We witnessed all kinds of underwater activity in the crystal clear waters, and above water activities such as this osprey, or the anhinga bird, which dives for fish deep underwater. The feathers don't have as much oil as other birds, which allows for deeper dives, but there is a cost.
So the trade-off is when they come out of the water, they're soaking wet. They're too heavy to fly.
Interesting.
Which for a bird is not a good thing. Well, they climb out of the water and open their wings and dry off in the sun.
There are also manatee. They also do their version of a dive, just upward. Okay, that's probably an overly aggressive description, but they do get their food from underneath, like this. Scientists have interest in manatee and follow some of them to learn of their habits by attaching a tracker, which floats and can only transmit the data when above water. So sometimes the shy manatee let us know they are there, just below the surface, and that's all we get. But throughout Florida, there are other creatures never too far away. That's a gator.
Carlton.
When he's hungry, he makes that high-pitched squeal. Okay, so gators don't make a high-pitched squeal before they charge, and we didn't see any on that river. But Leah and I also kayaked the Rock Springs Run near Apopka, and guess what we saw? That's a 7-foot gator. Now, he didn't make any noise at all, and he never even moved, and that was okay with us. The clear waters help the kayaker appreciate the underwater wildlife. Now, it's similar in water clarity to our own Buffalo River. Between the two rivers, we saw some amazing natural beauty, both above and below the surface. And with a kayak, you feel up close and very much a part of the scene. Something good to do when you come to Florida.
On their website, they said, for those who like to get lost in their thoughts instead of in the crowd.
Yep. Thanks for taking a ride with us on the St. Johns River in Florida. We'll have more field trips all year long. Next up on Arkansas's Great Outdoors, we revisit the Commissioner's Cup in Hot Springs. We will visit with the winners and see all the fun that they got to have afterwards. Arkansas's Great Outdoors is brought to you by Bad Boy Mowers, mow with an attitude, by Vexus Boats, by Visit Hot Springs, America's first resort, and by Certified Arkansas Bait Fish, the safe bait.
You can take somebody out on one of our aluminum boats and they think they're in a glass boat.
That's aluminum. That looks like a fiberglass boat.
I couldn't believe that was an aluminum boat.
That's the first time I've ever been in an aluminum boat. It felt just like I was in a fiberglass bass boat.
More times than I can count, you'll talk to someone that spent some time in the water on one of our aluminum boats that come out and say, if I was blindfolded, I would tell you that that was a fiberglass boat.
Everybody says it rides like a fiberglass boat. 100% rides like a fiberglass boat.
Sometimes you've got to show them the welds on our aluminum boats just to prove to them that they are aluminum boats.
It'll turn on a dime. It's fast. It gets on plane in a hurry. I can run a smaller motor, smaller batteries, and still get the same fit, finish, and ride I can in a glass boat. The Vexus aluminum product, by design, it has more curb appeal, it has more innovation, it's more fishable.
We call our Vexus AVX boats glass-infused aluminum hybrids, and that is because we put a lot of fiberglass components in these boats.
You can pull up to any ramp in that boat. People are going to say, that's the coolest aluminum boat I've ever seen. How did they do that?
You got to start at the hull. It's a pad hull that's designed to handle rough water, that's designed for performance.
You hit that throttle and you're just up on plane just almost instantly.
Very good, very fast, like riding a rocket when you come out of the hole.
It's so quick, you're there, the boat's just sitting there already.
It was like just on plane as soon as you push that pedal down.
When it comes to the rod and tackle storage, I think obviously for a tournament fisherman that is a big consideration, and it's one that we take very serious.
Our aluminum is shaped more like a glass boat that we're all used to, and it just looks better on the water, it looks better on the trailer, and people notice that.
The sheer performance of the boat was beyond any expectation that I could ever have.
We really wanted to focus on building an aluminum product that rode like a glass boat, that fished like a glass boat, that had an aluminum price.
Take a ride, you'll know the difference.
We thank our friends at Vexus Boats for supporting anglers for years with the best craftsmanship, all from Flippin, Arkansas. And we had several Vexus boats on the water for the annual Commissioner's Cup on Lake Hamilton this year. It's a great event for the young anglers in the state. Now, our winners in the senior division were the brother team of Dakota and Dalton Reed from Magnet Cove High School. When they took the stage, younger brother Dalton made sure there was not a dry eye in the crowd.
They called 1866 today, Lake Hamilton. Y'all get up. Dakota Reed, Dalton Reed, come on, boys.
3 years ago when we started this, I never thought that I would stand up here with my brother. And it's his senior year. And all I wanted to do this year was do something that we would never forget.
And here's how the best of the 43 teams fared. The Reed boys brought in a whopping 18.66 pounds. You saw our second place team earlier in the show. John Davis and Noah Yelich from Bologna High School. They turned in an impressive 17.3. You also heard from Cole Martin earlier. He and Josh Bowen came in third, representing Hot Springs Lakeside. The Reed boys were excited to be sure. They also turned it on at the exact right time for this tournament.
We actually have never fished a tournament and broken the double-digit mark.
Yep.
We have had 8 and 9 pounds on all of our tournaments this year, and we actually had a 12th place finish here on Lake Hamilton in February with
8.5,
8.5, 8.8, something like that. And so we had never broken the double-digit mark, and we thought we'd had some fish found that could help us do that, and then the big one this morning just, man, it put the juice in it.
You know, it's one of those things where it's not an us thing, it's a God thing. When it is your time, it is your time, but you have to fish like it's your time 100% of the time, but it is not in your control.
No.
It's 100% a God thing.
After the tournament, the boys joined me on the radio show The Wild Side on 103.7 The Buzz, hosted by Mark Hedrick, who drove our camera boat for all of our on-the-water interviews. Their dad, Robert, joined in on the fun, and it's a great fishing story in Arkansas. Thank you for joining us today. We recapped a thrilling tournament geared for the top youth anglers in the natural state. We also got to take a field trip on a beautiful Florida river and see some manatee, a lot of great fish and some exotic birds. We also got to see how a team of trail enthusiasts keep our hikes pristine. Mallory Lindsay from Bad Boy Mowers joined us on that cleanup, and Bad Boy provided the hardware which made the trail cleanup easy. We thank Bad Boy for helping make this show possible, and we thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Arkansas's Great Outdoors.
Thank you for watching Arkansas's Great Outdoors. At Bad Boy, we love the great outdoors just like you.